it finished Nottingham Forest 2, Newcastle United 3, and we've finally got the curse of the away matches well and truly out of the system. We're getting victories away from Tyneside, and we're avenging that freak, result. We were avenging the Chris Wood show from up at St James's Park previously, because that was a freakish game. That was a freakish result, and Newcastle United turning the tide and coming away with, from the City Ground with all 3 points. Very, very welcome. And in the context of the season, with other results going the way that it did, with it being a tight battle, between 4 or 5 teams for probably the remaining European spot, it was a great and very important and well-timed 3 points and a victory on our travels, no doubt about it. Heading into obviously this weekend's game against Bournemouth, looking forward to that one. But yeah, back to the weekend. I mean, totally topsy-turvy game. Bruno, the absolute and utterly shining star. I've said that all along. He's our most important player. He's up there with Joe Linton for me, and I've gone on record several times to say that the Joe Linton thing in the background needs to be getting sorted out. But Bruno, avoiding getting booked, so avoiding missing games coming up. He's walking such a tightrope. But to do this, he hasn't been well. I think everything being equal, all players being available, he probably wouldn't have played this game. But to say that, he come out afterwards in the media interviews and said, I had the shits and stuff like this. So obviously clearly not feeling very well. Puts in a 90-minute performance like he did. Man of the match, 2 goals, playing further forward, which is what we've been screaming for absolutely ages. What a player, what a lad. What a credit to Newcastle United. Great scouting, bringing in this lad. He is the perfect fit. He fits like a glove. Yeah, he really does. I mean, you're talking about the recruitment work and the scouting side of it, and Eddie Howe talking about the right personalities to fit our club. He is the epitome of what you need to do. Absolutely, utterly fantastic. The first goal, brilliant. The second goal, also absolutely off the charts. You wouldn't have believed it if you listened to the Sky Sports commentary on it, of course, because I think they were literally pumping hard for another Forest victory. However, 2 quality fingers, just no doubt about it. And to be fair, Fabian Schär's goal is no sloucher's goal. He literally places it perfectly well, but it's a great strike. Matt Sells, former Newcastle United keeper, no chance in fucking all, to be honest. But we did typical Newcastle. We always do it the hard way. We certainly tried to make it as hard for ourselves as was humanly possible. The first goal, again, a massive gift. I wasn't particularly happy at the time. It's not just a Dan Burn situation before people just start jumping around Dan Burn this, Dan Burn that. Yes, Dan Burn gets done for pace, but it's, like me with the old van, when it's a shit heap, there's no point complaining about it's a shit heap, because you already know it's a really shit heap. Well, with Dan Burn, he's a cracking lad, local lad, Geordie, gets it, the passion I love, but he's slower and he's losing pace as the weeks and months go by. That's just Mother Nature. That's not stating anything apart from the absolute bleeding obvious. But at the end of the day, how can we criticise Dan Burn? Yes, he's slow. He's playing out of position. He's a centre-back playing left-back. And, we know he's not a quick player. He's never been a quick player. He's never likely to be a quick player. We know that the issues are, amongst pace and people getting in behind him and targeting, that area and stuff. So it's up to us as a club, the coaches and everybody else to be able to tactically set us up to be able to protect us from that. And I know we're limited with numbers and what we can do, and when we've got more legs in midfield perhaps, then we can look to get back and plug the gaps and have somebody step in and just sort of help Dan Burn out a little bit more. Our hands this season have been tied behind our back all fucking campaign. But we knew what was going to happen. As soon as he started, we knew that he would be targeted and Forest would be at him from the start, and they were. I would say as well, midfield, It worked better from an attacking sense for me because you had Bruno pushed further up in the area that I think is more effective. He'd only scored 1 goal prior this season to this. So, you know, straight away you push him further forward and he bags himself a brace. That tells you everything that you need to know, in my opinion. Lewis Miley, we tried playing him a little bit deeper. We tried changing things around to drop to a free at the back occasionally with Trippier tucking in, didn't we, during the game. And that, again, it shows promise, but for their equalising goal, straight ball, straight through the midfield, like literally a knife through butter, straight away, far too easy. That for me is alarming, because if something's done there, then they don't get the run at the defence and they don't play the ball in behind, and perhaps Dubravka doesn't rush out quite as much. And I thought, again, Dubravka had a good game, but again, you know, we're talking about levels, we're talking about minute details. This is what highlights why Pope is so good and why Pope has been such a great miss for Newcastle United during this unfortunate spell where he's been missing. He should be back next month. That's the good thing, that's the good signs. But I don't think Dubravka helped himself as well there, because what are you going to do? Rushing out of the box, drop him to the ground, you're going to handball it, you're going to take somebody out, you're going to get a red card, or you're going to be conceding a goal. I'm all for keepers coming out and rushing out. I know it's the trend and this, that and the other, but in that situation, I just think if he holds back a little bit more, makes himself big, he might be able to get onto it. He might be able to put their attacking player off. I don't know, but for me, him rushing out just takes him out of the game, and it's the simplest of simple finishes for the lad, and Forest get level. We go back ahead, and then once again we're gifting them you know, an equaliser again. Fabian Schär's strike was absolutely fantastic, a great striker out of the ball. And you look at his goals and stuff, 3.5 million, fuck me, you will not find a bigger bargain than this lad. He's great defensively. I think he's come on leaps and bounds since Eddie came in. Obviously wasn't the flavour under Steve Bruce previously, but yeah, he's gone up and up levels all the single time. And yeah, £3.5 million, great. You know, Botman nods the ball back over. Fabian Schär, cool as you like, smashes it into the back of the net, and in doing so scores his 13th goal for Newcastle United and becomes, in the Premier League era, our best scoring centre back, just one above Stevie Taylor, surprisingly. So another feather in his cap. He's absolutely fantastic. Love him and Botman. It's just sorting out this issue because we are shipping goals at the back. But I still think the solution is staring Eddie Howe on the bench in the shape of Tino Livramento, who he spoke very highly about in the lead up to the game, but again found himself on the bench. It's just hard at the moment. It's just hard if you're going to sort of persevere or playing burn there. We are going to get found out, but I will also say at the same time, for all the people and all the critique of Dan Burn during this game, he was there right at the end making, vital interceptions, putting his body on the line. So, his height, his presence. Yes, it's cost us in one circumstances, but in the other circumstance, he's made match-saving, contributions where it matters most. So you've got to balance that up, no doubt about it. I still think what I say about having him on the bench and bringing him on for a midfield player in the second half and drop to maybe 3 at the back, doing it that way would work better for us. But who am I? Who are we to sort of criticise the coaches who see them week in, week out, day in, day out on the training pitches, and can see what they can do. Who are we to criticise anything at the end of the day? So it's difficult. There's no doubt about it. It's a difficult situation. There's a large, groundswell wanting Tino to be playing, and you can see why. He's great defensively, he's absolutely fantastic going forward, but Eddie Howe, for his leadership, his experience, and probably for what happened last season with that defence, wants to keep that defence together as much as possible. So you get behind Eddie Howe, you get behind his decisions, and you go for it. We saw it through. It worked during this game. Perhaps other games coming up, maybe there's a different approach and a different thought and a different mindset for different games. It's more than well possible as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It was far too easy for the first goal, and literally he absolutely pulled away at lightning speed, and you could see that there was massive danger. You know, and he knew it. He was on his bike and he was never making up the ground. And yeah, it was touch and go, but at the end of the day, I think Newcastle United were very good value for the 3 points at the end of it. 1 or 2 injuries, again, disappointing that we have to just continuously keep talking about injuries all the bastard time. Jacob Murphy in the warm-up felt something, a little bit of a you know, an injury. Hopefully not too serious. You know, some work with the sports scientists, the physios and stuff this week. I would imagine he's caught that early enough and that won't be a problem. Fingers crossed on that one. Callum Wilson looks a little bit more of a concern to me. A muscle sort of arm injury. Again, fingers crossed, everything praying, because, you know, the likelihood is that we're not going to have Isaac for this weekend. So if Wilson isn't fit, with no strikers again, and it means probably playing Gordon out of position, which he's capable of doing, no doubt about it, but it's far from ideal. It's, you know, going into a game without a striker, it also weakens the options from the bench. You can't really make changes in such a critical area, and it goes back once again. I keep feeling like I'm on repeat, but we said this last summer repeatedly, that we needed extra attackers because Callum Wilson constantly picks up these injuries. Now, this is a freak injury, but it's a freak injury on top of injury after injury after injury, and it's so frustrating. It affects his flow. Callum Wilson fit and firing is absolutely fantastic. He's a great asset for Newcastle United, but if he's constantly injured and unavailable, it just frustrates you. I don't think he's scored now in a couple of months as well, mainly down to injuries, of course. But yeah, it's something that's got to be looked at this summer. We cannot go into another season like this with 2 strikers who are each prone to pick up injuries and knocks and stuff. So yeah, no Isaac, unless he's going to do another 360 like what he did with Anthony Gordon during this last match and last run out. But it is so frustrating because injuries are having such an impact on this season, and it's the overarching story throughout the entire campaign. Injury after injury after fucking injury, and you just do without it. So to see Callum Wilson there at the end with a problem with his arm, he wasn't, I don't think, on the team photograph afterwards, is alarming. It's concerning. We'll await obviously Eddie's press conference on Friday, but he'll say that it's touch and go and this, that and the other, and he'll say the normal stuff, and he's literally playing his cards as close to his chest as possible and to keep the opposition guessing, because again, Bournemouth at home, it sounds easy on paper, it's going to be nothing at all like that. You know, they've got danger men, they've got players to watch out for, and we're going to have to be on our absolute best to be able to get something for it. And that's why it's so important that we have fit and available strikers there. And you know, Callum Wilson against Bournemouth, it's got to add a little something extra into the spice for him as well when he's playing against them. I'd fancy him to be able to notch it. Let's fingers crossed he is fit and okay for this weekend, and then we can move forward. And positive news on Jacob Murphy as well, because I was just saying as well to Kyle, it's nice to see the bench starting to, like, you know, strengthen up a little bit, and then you get 2 players potentially, you know, injured and missing, and you're sort of back to square one. So yeah, so frustrating. But if Anthony Gordon has to come in at the weekend, then you would think that Harvey Barnes would make a start, wouldn't you? And Miggy on the other side, and you would hope that would be enough to be able to still get the point at home. We need to turn the home form and you know, get that Fortress St James's back. So it's a big match for that this weekend as well, and we've got to keep the pressure on for the European spaces. If we want to keep our better players, European football is a great place to be able to start when you're sort of trying to sell, to keep your better players, and to sell to try and bring in, you know, better players to bolster this squad out, because there's no doubt that there's some serious work that needs to be done. There's players who are going to be leaving on free contracts. There's players who have been here for ages, the likes of Jeff Hendrick walking out finally finishing on a £42,000 a week contract. We can put that money to better use and move forward. But again, if you've got European football, you're able to sell the club and push the club, and it might be that competitive edge that we need over a competitor who's chasing a player's signature. So everything and all being well, everything considered, fingers crossed, we get another positive result this weekend and we continue to push onwards and upwards in the league. And I think I'll stop there. Don't want to go on for too long. So not feeling absolutely fantastic. Haven't for a few weeks, to be honest. Had the day off yesterday. Try and pull myself around a little bit, but graft, work, money, all those sorts of things. Needs must and all. So, but just before I finish, if you could subscribe to Magpie 24/7, that is greatly appreciated. And if you don't follow us on the likes of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and everything else, please do so. Your support means a lot. Again, myself, Kyle, and a couple of the lads who do some of the longer articles for us, we do it. It's a hobby, it's a passion of ours to talk about the club we all love, Newcastle United. So your support, your subscribing to the channel and stuff like that does mean a heck of a lot. So please do that if you can. Thumbs up, subscribe, and then check out all the rest of the social media accounts for Magpie 24/7. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Looking towards the Bournemouth game. Relieved we got the victory. Carl said it was absolutely fucking rocking down at the City Ground in the away end. It was a great away day. He always goes on about the Leicester away victories and stuff, but I think that has possibly been beaten from that one at the City Ground at the weekend. So cracking atmosphere, cracking result. Shame about the injuries, but the 3 points are more than welcome, no doubt about it. Newcastle United continue the march towards hopefully some sort of European competition next season, and with us still in the FA Cup, fingers crossed this can still be an absolutely and utterly fantastic season that we're now sort of getting balls deep into, aren't we? It's starting to become to the business end, as you're getting into March and that type of thing. You're looking to where you can finish, what's available, cup runs, everything crossed for that one. So yeah, I'll leave it there, and in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.